Welcome, I'm Tasha Romanelli, and I'm here to practice with you in pajama yoga. Pajama yoga is one of my favorite things to do. It's something that I literally wake up, or roll out of bed, and I start practicing in my pajamas. Today I want to guide you through a practice that I love to do to help set my intention and embody and manifest the intention that I want to create for myself today. We do that by starting to set the intention, so putting the thought of what it is that we would like to create, and then embody it into the body, and then be able to reciprocate so that the energy is a giving and a receiving within yourself, helping to manifest what it is that you want for your day. The intention that I've set for myself today is to be inspired and to be connected. Now, that is my intention. I encourage you and invite you to come up with your own. If this intention feels like it resonates with you, wonderful. Then you can go ahead and use the same one that I'm doing. So the first, that the intention becomes a thought. So how do we bring it back into the body so that we can manifest it? Because in order to manifest, we need to feel it. And I'm a very visual person, so I love to use visualization and breath work to help integrate and create that connection in the body to help bring it to life. So how do we do that? Well, go ahead and place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Now, I want you to imagine in your mind's eye, if you can, that you are an hourglass. Now, an hourglass is basically two triangles at their points, one being inverted, the other one being upright. And I want you to imagine that the center point of those triangles is at your throat center, okay? Right at the throat. So imagine here, this is where the top of the hourglass is, and then from here down is the bottom half of the hourglass. Now currently, in the top of the hourglass is filled with sand. Now that sand, every piece of grain of sand has embedded the intention that you set for yourself. So every grain of sand has an imprint that says inspired and connected. So how do we get that grain of sand to open up into our throat chakra so that we can manifest that truth and embody it back into the body? Well, we do it through the power of visualization and breath. So let's practice this, and I'm going to guide you through it. Okay, so as you have one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, you're imagining that you're an hourglass and the pinch point of that hourglass is right at the throat. Now, as you inhale, I want you to imagine that you're pulling now that sand down the hourglass and into the bottom of that hourglass. So it's rooting into that belly of yours that you're inhaling to. And as you continue to inhale and you feel it in your chest, that sand is now filling up to your heart center. So it goes a little something like this. Inhale, deep breath in. And then we open our mouth and we release. We're going to do that 2 more times, but imagine in your mind's eye, every time you're inhaling, you're dropping that sand down. Inhale. And release. Inhale. And release. Beautiful. Now go ahead and release your hands from your heart, and go ahead and place your hands now on your thighs, your knees. Keeping your eyes closed, you're going to now visualize yourself. So if you were to stare at yourself, if you can imagine in your mind's eye that you are looking in a mirror and you see that you are that hourglass. Now you take inventory. Is there still sand up in this part of your head, or have you embodied all of it? And if there's still some sand trickling down into the lower half of the hourglass, let's imagine that. Let's visualize that. Let's see ourselves as that hourglass. Every grain of sand that has been imprinted with our intention is now filling up in the lower half of our body. Now, once all of that sand has fallen to the bottom of that hourglass, we are now going to use the power of our mind and our breath to reverse it, because it is a two-way street. right? We can't just ground our energy and say, okay, I've embodied it. No, we have to feel it, and then we have to share that feeling back to our thoughts so that we can actually believe what it is that we are intending. So go ahead and place your hands back on your heart and your belly. And now I want you to imagine, as you inhale, that you're pulling the sand, defying all of gravity, pulling that sand all the way up, and then bringing it back into the mind, the top of the hourglass. We'll do that 3 times. Inhale. And then slowly exhale. As you're inhaling, you're watching the grains of sand that you have imprinted with your intention go back up to the mind to believe that this is true. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. Beautiful. Go ahead and release your hands. Place your hands on your knees or your thighs. Now keeping your eyes closed, you want to now see that you've pulled up the sand from the lower half of the hourglass, but there's still sand. You haven't pulled it all up. There's still sand. There's now a balance. A beautiful balance of what is above is now below, creating harmony and balance in your practice. Now, each grain of that sand is imprinted into your thoughts and into your feelings. That is the power of manifestation. You have to feel it to believe it, but you have to think it to feel it. And it is this beautiful giving and receiving, a balancing of energy that's going to help promote what it is that you want to create for your day. This practice gets easier and more simplified the more that you practice it. It is simply a practice where you roll out of bed, set that intention, and imagine embodying that intention through the visualization of an hourglass, and then reciprocating it back into the mind so that it can be what it is that you believe. There's a beautiful saying I like to say, what you believe is what you receive, and what you are seeking is seeking you. That is the power of the universe, the law of attraction, and the beautiful law of vibration. So we work with it instead of against it. Thank you for joining me. Many blessings. Namaste.